Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to today's edition of the Afternoon Edition. My name is Isa Nu. Today, we will be continuing with the conversation on the issue of the Supreme Court judgment which took place last week, the July 11 judgment granting financial autonomy to the 774 local government council and recognizing them as the third tier of Nigeria's governance architecture, which was truly historic, and it was perhaps the most remarkable judgment ever delivered by the Apex Court in recent times, as it used its power to interpret the law to give a different meaning to Section 162 of the Constitution. Since 1999, governors have used this section to withhold the tamper with the funds to federally allocated to the local government council using a joint account that has proven to be a honeypot of abuse. So last Thursday judgment, the Supreme Court described the payment of the allocations to the account as gross misconduct and scolded the governors for dissolving democratically elected councils and setting up caretaker committees. The court ruled that caretaker committees are illegal and that the council run by them should not receive the federal allocation. Henceforth, the court ruled that the allocations should go directly to the account of the 774 local government councils, and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, whose government instituted this case, welcomed the Supreme Court's decision affirming the spirit, intent, and purpose of Constitution regarding the statutory rights of local government. So President Tinubu noted that the provisions of some of the essential amenities and public goods, such as construction and maintenance of roads, street lights, drains, parks, gardens, open spaces, and other residual responsibilities, including community security, has been abandoned owing to the emasculation of local government funds. It said the court's decision to grant financial autonomy to the councils and restate other constitutional principles reinforced the effort to enhance Nigeria's true federal fabric for the development of the entire nation. For many of us who remember what happened during the period of President Muhammadu Buhari, where he had sought to rescue the councils from the governor's grip by using Executive Order 10, which was signed May 22nd, 2020, to direct funds straight to the council, the state legislature, and the judiciary. But the governor's challenged his authority in a case filed at the Supreme Court. In a split judgment in 2022, the Supreme Court said President Muhammadu Buhari the former president overreached his power, and in his lamentation while signing the executive order, President Buhari said in his words, I'll quote, "If the money from the federation account to the state is about 100 million, 50 million will be sent to the chairman of the local government, but he, the chairman, will sign that he received 100 million. The governor will pocket the balance and share it with whoever he wants to share it with. Then the chairman of the local government must pay salaries. Go to hell with development when he pays salaries. He will put the balance in his pocket." This is what is happening in Nigeria. These were the words of President Muhammadu Buhari, and that will mark part of my introduction, or the close of my introduction to this particular conversation we're having today. I will be having this conversation with a public affairs analyst and expert in local government and developmental studies in person. Mr. Ibrahim Adeyemi will be joining us live via Skype to have this conversation. Over time, so many issues have been going on with respect to this particular court judgment. From governors, they said, okay, they've accepted this in good faith, but we are now seeing a new twist, whereby some of the governors have actually started planning how to conduct elections using the State Independent Electoral Commission. About 13 of the governors have this plan on ground to roll out the drum for the election of local government officers. And this is one of the major challenges I think we still face as a nation, where states still controls the local government directly or indirectly, either through election or through financial management. So we're having this conversation with a local government and developmental studies expert in person, Mr. Ibrahim Adeyemi, who also has his master's in this same field of specialization, to discuss with us and tell us more about the importance of this judgment, its implications on local government, and then it also implication on the state government, and what are even the rights of this local government, because some of them were unpicked And it is difficult for them to actually know what it means for them to have rights and what it means for them to also understand what privileges they have. And then the people who they govern, what benefit should they expect from such decision made by the Supreme Court. So we'll go on a very short break, and when we return, we start up the conversation.
The welfare of millions of people for generations to come may be affected by the wisdom which we here display. If Nigerian leaders and our British partners are to prove themselves worthy of their trust, now is the time for us solemnly and truly to dedicate ourselves to seeking the greatest good of the greatest number of our people in Nigeria. Independence for Nigeria in 1960 is imperative. But independence for Nigeria as a corporate entity is not enough. The peoples of Nigeria must at the same time be guaranteed their freedom. We must ensure that in an independent Nigeria, individual citizens throughout the land enjoy liberty, human dignity, and equality under the law. There must be one Nigeria with one constitution and one law for all. Let us therefore, Mr. Chairman, sir, close our ears to the counsel of despair, which says that we cannot here at this conference agree on a constitution. If there's any doubt among us as to what should be written into the constitution, let us, as democrats that we profess ourselves to be, refer such problems, as the Gaulle has done recently, to the people whom we profess to represent, either just before or at the federal elections late in 1959.
Welcome back from that break. And just before the break, I did inform you that our focus today will still be on the judgment by the Supreme Court. And we've seen so many encomium from local government administrators, most especially their union, ALGON, and former local government chairman of Nigeria, the association, applauding this particular government for the Supreme Court for taking this particular decision. And the president have said it, that look, you cannot have development in a particular local government or in a particular state without tying it to those who are in charge of its administrator or administrations. And as a result of that, he also elaborated by stating that the reason why we have some of these states develop is because they have functional system of local government administration, and that is the more reason why we're having Mr. Ibrahim Adiem, who is an expert in this particular field, to join us from his location. Mr. Ibrahim, good afternoon and welcome to the afternoon edition. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, hello. Good afternoon, sir.
And it's nice you joining us this afternoon to further this conversation on the Supreme Court judgment. But let me just give you a grip of what we are about to discuss, of which we've actually introduced before now. Let me also have just your understanding about this particular judgment that took place last week. And we can see that so many turns are happening now. What's your understanding about the present state of things as a result of this decision by the Supreme Court?
Good afternoon, our presenter. My name is Ibrahim Adeyemi. Based on the verdict of the Supreme Court judgment over the local government autonomy, is one of the remarkable and landmark achievements that can constitute our development, most especially at the grassroots level. Based on the 1976 reforms of the local government, which guarantee and make the local governments as the fourth tiers of government in Nigeria, local government is the one that is closest to the people at the grassroots level. Majority of all these states, they are just exploiting all the local government. Some of the local government doesn't felt the positive impact of the governance of the state governor throughout the 4 years or the 8 years that the majority of them are going to use throughout the period. But the local government, they are the one that is closest to them, that they can provide them the basic necessity and amenities to them that can bring the sustainable development at the grassroots level. According to the section 7, subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, advocates for democratic elected local government chairman. That is, a local government must have a democratic elected local government chairman. Because when you look at the scenario of Nigerian case, majority of the local government in Nigeria, the state governor mostly appoints the caretaker committee, which is responsible directly to them. And in government, there is nothing like you are going to be answerable to your superior or something. You are answerable to the people at the populace, because you are serving the people. That's why they call you public servants. They serve you, serve the public. But in scenario of Nigeria, everybody is looking for the way to serve his or our masters, and which is the one that is bringing us, that is drawing us back in terms of development in Nigeria. Now, check the section 8 of the Constitution. It guarantees that the state government must have an existent local government. That is, the state must have an existence of what? A local government. But why is it that in Nigeria that we don't normally want to have anything like a state government or something like that? But the local government, they are the one that is going to give us the development that can be able to bring development back to the people at the grassroots level. And it is mandatory that the local government must exist as the third tier. Because currently in Nigeria now, we are only operating 2 tiers of government. We only operate the state and the federal. But what happens to the local government, which the Constitution of Nigeria will recognize them? Now, let's see the section 162, subsection 3 of the Constitution of Nigeria. We talk about the funding of the local government. The funding of the local government that is must come. There is funding that's coming directly from the local government that is going to set aside for the local government, while the state has a certain percentage of money that is supposed to be remitted back to the local government for them to be able to carry out their duties and responsibility. Section 2, subsection 2 of the 1999 Constitution also made it that a Nigerian federation consists of the state and a federal capital territory. So, which means that each local government exists and is already being recognized. Now, let's take for example of the previous administration of Buhari regime. There is something that they call social registered, that they are asking that maybe all these when they want to do all these poverty alleviation programs for the people, they are asking for the state government to provide them the registered books of the people. But this local government, they are the one that they're supposed to contact directly, because they are the one that they know the people that are engaging in farming, in artisan, or all these small scale businesses. But when you see, that's why at the end of the day, all this money that they suppose that they set aside for all this development, they are being siphoned, they are being embezzled, because there is no proper monitoring, there is no proper accountability for that. So this autonomy is going to bring a development back to our people. Let's take for example Lagos State. Lagos is having only just 20 local governments, and which they created 20 local development council. That's it. They have 34 LCDs and 20 local government areas. But see the performance of all these their local government chairman. Some of their local, sorry to say this, some of their local government chairman perform more than some of the states in the country. In some countries, they perform better because they provide social amenities like schools, portable drinking waters, primary health care, and so on and so forth. In terms of education, local government is saddled with the responsibility of providing education from primary school to JSS 3. That's the responsibility of the local government. When it comes to infrastructure, let's talk, for example, like road. We have 3 types of road in the country. We have trunk A, trunk B, trunk C. Trunk A road is meant for the federal government, trunk B is meant for the state government, while trunk C is meant for the local government. But you see some of our state government be commissioning doing the road of Trunk C and still be commissioning it that is the achievement. The achievement that's supposed to be done by the local government people. So before, I don't think some of the in terms of portable drinking water, half of the local government in Nigeria is even having access to the portable drinking water, because some of the state doesn't put more emphasis on that, and that is the work of the local government. Because the chairman is someone that we are closest to, we can be able to see him on time. The state, how many of us can be able to go to the capital to go and see the governors? We can't. But the chairman is the one that is closest to us within our territory, within our vicinity, that we can hold responsible, accountable for the allocation being given to him. So some of the problems we know that the local government is that.
If you can just list it, because when this judgment, before now, just like you rightly stated, President Muhammad Buhari, former President Muhammad Buhari, I need to say, took a very drastic measure with respect to this, and then the court actually felt that particular judgment that it took. And then, if you remember, there was a time he gave an order to the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit, that's NFIU, ICPC, and even the EFCC to monitor some of the funding that are being sent to local government and how they are being executed in terms of their programs and the rest. But now that we are now having this particular judgment, following the right way to achieve it, do you really think there will be a change in terms of the governor's attitude towards the funds that are meant for the local government?
Hello? Are you with me, sir?
Yeah, are you with me?
Yeah, when you watch the measures that the former president Muhammadu Buhari take in terms of local government autonomy, he tried to work from the Federal Executive Council. That's that they tried to make an order from the Federal Executive Council, which did not even take effective. The bill did not even come to life. The bill did not come to light, and which was unable to. But the drastic measures that this current administration took towards the autonomy is they dragged the state governors, all the 36 states, they dragged them to the court. That's why they took them to the Supreme Court. And why the Supreme Court interpret what is already been spelled out in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. So that's why they make the judgment on. Because the Constitution recognized the local government as the third tiers of government in Nigeria, and which they are funding, and is already been, the funding is already, there is clause of funding inside the Constitution for them. The clause of funding is there. So why sending the local government money into the account of the state government? For example, now 2021 in Kaduna State, El-Rufai formulated a policy that all the revenues that were being collected by all these local governments must be remitted to the account of the state government in less than 24 hours. Any chairman that did not remit that money has issue with the governor. Is either you removing or you suspending. You understand, sir? But as a democratic elected chairman, that the people, the populace, they are the one that put the person there. They are the one that elects the person. So it doesn't need to be answerable to the government. It's supposed to be answerable to the people at the grassroots level. You understand what I'm saying, sir?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm with you, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly now, sir.
Okay, based on what you've stated now, so in this particular case, now, are you saying that the local government will now have direct access to their money, and then the governors will not tamper with the money?
Yes, they can have access to their money for them to be able to discharge their duties, their responsibility, and likewise there is going to be another source of revenue. All this their revenue that they are collecting, that they are remitting back to the state government. The local government can use this to develop their state. I have two concerns about this autonomy. This autonomy is just based on a paper like this. If there is no amendment from the Constitution also, for states to still be conducting the election of the local government chairman, the autonomy is still not going to work, because the state is still going to be having an influence in selecting or appointing someone that is going to be the chairman. let's say for example like Kano State or something like that is being ordered by the NNPP. When they conduct election, you see that for the whole 44 local government is that NNPP that won the whole 44 local government. If you go to Oyo State, if you go to Port Harcourt, if you go to any state, the party of the governor is what normally won the election. But if INEC is conducting, when we are doing the general election, or the INEC is the one that is conducting the election, either 3 years, that's what the constitution stated for the chairman of the local government, 3 years. So if INEC is conducting, at least there's going to be a competitive among these political parties, not a one-man party show that the party of the governor is the one that is going to, because the state electoral committee chairman is being controlled by the governor. So they are answerable to the governor, so they must dance to the tunes of the governor. You understand, sir? So if there is going to, since this autonomy has come to stay and has been working, the federal government needs to put some mechanism in places in terms of embezzlement and proper monitoring. The way how these local governments are making use of the money, they must monitor. And thank God there is no immunity for the local government channel. So if you embezzle the money, they prosecute you, you face the law, and the law do the judgment. That's our times. I used to cry for this our country. The way they are embezzling the money, at least the country is supposed to even dry up for resources. But God bless us with abundance of resources. Every day there is no day you are going to the media that you are not going to be seeing millions of naira being siphoned by all these our politicians or all these civil servants or anything. But God still bless us with that resources. So since the funding is going to them straight, there's supposed to be a mechanism that the government is still going to put in place to be monitoring them, how they are making use of such money. So any local government that is not making use, that is embezzled in the money, so should be prosecuted, and whatever is to face the warrant of the law. So those are the things that the government needs to put in places for them. So if this autonomy and we are going to see a development, there is not going to be development from top. Development is supposed to come from bottom up. When you go to developed countries, development comes from the bottom up, because the people, the local government, they have what they call economic planning. So they plan for the economy. Let's say, for example, now this is my local government AXYZ. Okay, now there are economic activities that is here is farming, so we are producing food. So we are going to make our economic planning based on what? Based on that, how we can be able to be producing in large quantity, be getting exportation, be bringing people. And if it is tourism, you plan towards that tourism so that you are going to be attracting a foreign investor, and it's going to be as a tourist center for people, and it's going to attract revenue for you. The majority of the local government is crippled. Some of them doesn't even know their responsibility. Nobody even know their economic planning that is already exist or that is present in such a local government. So those are the things that they're supposed to put in places for them, that the local government can be able to develop. If local government can develop, the state is going to develop. If state develop, the federal can develop. But the development has to come from the grassroots level.
You've stated the relationship between the state and that of the local government, and you have one major fear, and the fear is how elections are being conducted in this local government, of which you stated that it will be better INEC. But in this particular case, do you think the National Assembly will hasten the process to see that that particular part of the constitution is amended, so that instead of having the state independent electoral commission, we have INEC conducting that election? What role do you think the National Assembly will have to play to make this a success?
Yes, I'm very sure you see, these are lawmakers. If they want to do something, they know how to get it, they know how to do it. But if it is not something that is going to be in favor of them, you see them be dragging the people on and off, that can even take these administrations for not to be able to. But if the masses, the people, they come together, they are advocating, the civil society organization, they are mandating, they are putting force on all these lawmakers, all these are legislative, I'm very sure within short period of time they are going to pass the law that is going to be amended for the INEC to be conducting the election for the local government. If they want to do it, sir. If they want to do it, sir. Because politics in Nigeria now is based on interest. Something that is going to favor me, because all those are lawmakers too, they are going to still protect themselves so that in order for them to be able to secure their vote against next election. So then too, they have to be taking caution. So I'm very sure that if they want to do it, they can do it, sir. Because
are you referring to okay, when you say they are going to protect themselves, are you referring to probably the next party primaries where to an extent the governors have a major role to play in most of the primaries across the state? So are you saying that the governors are going to also kick against them for them not to be able to get the ticket? Or still, don't you think it's also a win-win for them in such a situation whereby they can allow this particular bill to scale through, and then the president assent to it, and then it becomes a law, and then they work with the local government that are in place to see that yes, they win the election during the primary, because even the local government have 1 or 2 roles to play during primary election.
Yes. The fear I'm talking about these lawmakers is some of the lawmakers with the governor, some of them are not in the same party. So that's what I'm saying, that if the election is being conducted in a credible and a free and fair way, and for example, when the governor is of APC and the chairman is mixed up like that, so it's going to come for challenge. You understand, sir? It's going to come for challenge, and for the lawmakers, they are not going to be so. The chairman, the local government chairman, they are going to see themselves as someone that they are elected, not an errand boy for all these their superiors. That's why I'm saying that they use them as a dog. So they will just be sending that they are the ones to be giving the higher, be conversing, they go and tell these people to vote for me, tell these people to do this thing for me, tell this to do that for me. So instead of them to be an errand boy, they know that they are already a democratic elected chairman. So for them to all these police, because the lawmakers, so they have to go for the alliance with those people. Please, how can you convince your people to vote for me? So they have to be seeking for alliance. But someone that you put there as a caretaker committee or you appointed there, so you can direct him in any way you like or something. That's why we've seen all these appointed caretaker committee. They are the one that even be snatching their ballot boxes. They are the one that are leading all these thugs and hooligans to be disrupting the credibility of election in Nigeria. But when you're having a elected local government chairman, he has to protect the integrity. So it's answerable to the people. So and the council, the councillors, that's the councils, the council member, when they pass no confidence on him like this now, they can impeach him. Just like the speaker, like the state house of assembly. So when they pass no confidence about the governor, so they can impeach so that's why the councillors too, they are going to be using this to be checkmating the affairs of the chairman. So the chairman will not just be acting as a superior officer, just be doing whatever he likes. So the constitution needs to be amended to spell out their roles and their duties, how they can be able to be using the fundings, how the funding can be judiciously utilized for the sustainable development of the country.
Ibrahim, thank you so much for this particular brief. But then there are so many questions I will still need to you to respond to. But then that will just be after the break. But then you've raised a critical aspect in terms of the local government development now, which is very, very key. And these are issues that definitely will be asking more questions about on how can they make use of this fund for the people they are leading to benefit from. And then we've seen situations whereby you also try to also raise that comparativeness between Lagos State and some other states in terms of how they administer their local government. But then the issue of funds is still one of the major issues. Will this fund be sufficient enough for the local government areas, administrators, to be able to carry out projects, community projects that will be of benefit to the people of their community? So we'll go on a very short break, and when we return, we'll continue the conversation.
The challenge of Nigeria as a free state in 20th century Africa is the need to revive the stature of man in Africa and restore the dignity of man in the world. Nigerians believe passionately in the fundamental human rights. We regard all races of the human family as equal. Under no circumstance shall we accept the idea that the black race is inferior to any other race. I appeal to all our leaders, far and near, to forget the wounds which were inflicted in cause of our internecine altercations. The love of our country should outweigh the love of our petty selves. The enjoyment of individual freedom under the law should mean more to us than our self-centered party programs and manifestos. Common dangers and common enemies alert us on the need for common security. Come and join Abubakar with me, Sadauna, Awolowo, Akitola, Ofarebe, Okpara, Ikoku, Aminu Kano, Ibrahim Imam, and Taka. Let us bind the nation's wound and let us heal the breaches of the past so that in forging our nation, there shall emerge on this continent a hate-free, fear-free, and greed-free people who shall be in the vanguard of a world task force whose assignment is not only to revive the stature of man in Africa, but to restore the dignity of man in the world.
Welcome back from that break, and we'll be listening to Ibrahim Adeyemi, who is a local government expert. He has he has this broad understanding of how administrators in local government can manage their resources in such a way that yes, it will be of benefit to those who they need. But before now, we all know that it is difficult for them to actually have a say on what they receive. They only get from the stipends being given to them by governors, and that has actually hindered development in local government, and also it has also affected food security in one way or the other, because it is in our local government that most of our farmers are resident in. And then even the issue of the primary health care, the out of school children that we're having, and so many are on top of the table for the leadership of local government administrator. And that's why, Ibrahim, I would like you to respond to this. One major issue they are having is that they are going to get these funds, but then the other issue is, what about the developmental issues that they have already at hand? The issue of security, how will they be able to manage security with this particular funds? How will they be able to manage the issue of education with this particular fund? How will they be able to manage the issue of health care, primary health care, and the rest? So these are the critical aspects. What do you think the local government would need to prioritize as of now, most especially when we're having these current economic challenges?
Thank you so much, sir. In terms of the issues that you mentioned, those issues that you mentioned, that's what I'm saying, because the local government was not given the free hands to operate. So if the local government is having free hands to operate, you see all those issues of high rate of school dropouts, all these our primary health care not functioning properly. We having all this bad road, and most especially the fundamental one that is happening to us, which is insecurity. So I think the problem is because the state doesn't put much emphasis on local government. Now let's take you back. I know that during the colonial era, the local government and the traditional rulers, they work hand in hand. A visitor can come into a particular local government area without the consent of the traditional rulers. So for a person to be able to accommodate someone, so you have to the consent of the traditional councils. So and they know the people within their vicinity. So if each local government is be able to release funding that they gave them, the autonomy they gave them, that they be able to provide their own security, they use their people to be their security agency. So they will know the people that they can feature that, oh, you are a new face, so what's your job? What do they ask such question or something? So they'll be able to be fishing out all those perpetrators that is disturbing us in this country about insecurity. And likewise, you see the high rate of school dropout or something. Most especially, the state, they don't really put more emphasis about primary education. But education from primary school to JSS3 is the responsibility of local government. So when the local government is having such funds, they'll be able to put all those schools in shape, not them being waiting for the state government to come and be to come and do something for them. You understand? At times, some of the local government, in the local government, you can't see more than maybe like 40, it only exceed more than 40 schools. It can't exceed more than that. So, and with this autonomy, is going to enhance their autonomy, because there is nobody that is going to be interfering in their affairs, unless when they bring an auditors to come and check, how did you use your money, or give us, they are accountable to us. So, and it's going to strengthen the economy, it's going to strengthen the constitution, the way the constitution mandates them, that they are democratic elected someone, and to bring development at the grassroots level. So all this is going to, all this insecurity, where our economic is not in a good shape or something like this. If this autonomy is finally comes to light for local government, I'm very sure within a short period of time, we are going to see a positive impact of governance on the people. Like as I said earlier before, a development can come from bottom up, not top down.
You raised one issue before now, and that issue has to do with what guarantees even them their safety. I understand that the governors have immunity, the president has immunity, and you've raised the issue that the local government doesn't have immunity. Don't you think that would be a major issue for them? Because at times when you don't have enough funds to carry out some of this responsibility, the people will have this feeling that, look, you have enough money, remember you're a politician, you're the administrator, so you should always have money to carry out activities. And don't you think the people are going to kick against them?
Please, can you take the question again? The network is breaking.
Are you listening? Hello? Can you hear me? Okay, I think he's having issue with his network over there. It's difficult hearing him from here. But then these are key issues that definitely we'll expect Ibrahim to respond to, because the state governors have immunity, the president has immunity, the local government at some point definitely they will start grumbling that the funds available to them may not be enough for them to carry out developmental activities in their local government, and this may spur the anger of the citizens in those particular local government or residents of the local government against them. Don't you think they need enough protection? That's my question, Ibrahim, if you are listening. Hello, Brian, can you hear me?
Again about that again.
Okay, it seems, okay, he's back. Did you hear my last question?
Sir?
Did you get my last question? Okay, I'm still having network glitch with Ibrahim over there, but let me just take a quote from what the president said after the judgment. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu remarked that the onus is now on local council leaders to ensure that the broad spectrum of Nigerians living at that level are satisfied that they are benefiting from people-oriented service delivery. The renewed hope agenda is about the people of this country at all levels, irrespective of faith, tribe, gender, political affiliation, or any other artificial line they say exists between us. This country belongs to all of us, and by this judgment, our people, especially the poor, can hold their local leaders accountable for their actions and inactions. What is sent to local government account will be known, and services must now be provided without excuses. So these are the words of the president, and that also puts them on the spotlight. We've seen situations in states where workers protest, where people protest against governors, they protest against the president, and then if the local government doesn't have that fund, enough of this fund to carry out activities, people are definitely going to kick against them. And if they don't have immunity, how will they be able to defend themselves also? These are the critical questions we expected Ibrahim to also react. So Ibrahim, if you are back, please, can you just react to some of these questions? Okay, still we are yet to get him back on track. But then, that's how far we can go today on this particular edition of the afternoon edition. My name is Isanu. Have a wonderful day and stay blessed.